Hi, I'm here in Paris. A while ago, I was inside the mobility park to see their demo and to try out for myself some of the micro-mobility fleet that Toyota has provided for the Olympics. Toyota has been the mobility partner of the Olympic movement since 2015. This time, Toyota has deployed around 3,000 sustainable mobility vehicles for the athletes, officials, media, and spectators. Yesterday, we witnessed the spectacle of the opening ceremony of the 2024 Olympics at the Scene Olympique. And now, let's take a closer look at the so-called electric-powered personal mobility machines and a hydrogen-powered pedal assist bike with a freezer inside. Some of these machines in the mobility park are offered as a shared mobility service connected to and powered by Toyota's Skin2Share mobile app. Around 60% of the fleet provided during the Olympics have zero tailpipe emissions. And there are hundreds of personal mobility machines, all electric vehicles, such as C Plus Walk S, C Plus Walk T, wheelchair, e-pullers, and 250 accessible people movers, and 150 wheelchair accessible Toyota Pro Ace vehicles for the so-called last mile transport needs. So let's go check out some of the personal mobility vehicles inside the mobility park.
It comes down just a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you see, this is the future. Then you go like this. And then you have your cartridge.
I think that's 8 kilos.
Yeah, 8.5.
8.5.
And then you go slowly.
Okay.
And your hydrogen is changed.
Okay.
And it's good to go. So how long does it can it work for? The cargo bike in itself, because it still works with mechanical
It's pedal assist.
Yes,
Right?
it's pedal assist. You can go for pretty much a long time as long as you have the cartridge in your legs. You can go how much you want. But let's say like the
That's only for the fridge.
no, that's for the cargo bike. Okay. But for the fridge, I'll go into it.
In that small
volume of hydrogen.
Wow.
Is it full? This one full.
Yes, bro.
Wow.
Can I?
Yes.
Oh, it's
Wow.
heavy.
Yeah, but
Which are portable by human hand.
so
And this is full. Full
Yes,
tank.
correct, yes.
wow.
It's looking like
Yeah, I didn't expect that it would be that small, but
So we total developing the.
this is the Toyota Gosen.
Oh,
No, I saw it on Twitter Times.
yeah.
So
this
now-
bike charges it.
Yes, that's right. So now it's stopped, but we can exchange this cartridge.
This is like the flex capacitor in Back to the Future.
So
I'm impressed that
by
it's
using this hydrogen, we create the electricity for the assist motor and freezer.
Also, there's a fridge, the freezer in the front. I'll show you the fridge.
Freezer.
freezer.
Yeah.
Does it have an ice cream or
It's free for you.
it should be?
Oh, it does.
Oh, it does. No vegan ice cream.
Yes, this is
No, that's not vegan.
vegan.
Oh, this vegan?
Yeah.
Oh my! It's vegan. It's actually vegan. Ben and Jerry's vegan ice cream. I'm familiar with this.
So why does it have a freezer here? So what's
Yeah.
the connection?
Because why not?
Oh,
With hydrogen, you can use energy to do many things.
Okay.
So like this is like one thing you can do with hydrogen.
Okay.
So you can also use it for cooking.
do you have a demo for the cooking?
It's on the screen. Yeah. You want ice creams?
It's for free?
Yeah, it's for free. Go ahead.
Or you can charge it to my
Can I get one?
TMA. To my host. Now I'll get the Ben and Jerry's.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you for the ice cream.
Yes, go ahead.
The vegan one, right? Always have some
We're
vegan.
gonna give you the spoon.
Oh, the spoon. They'll give you a spoon if it's a vegan ice cream. Merci.
You're welcome.
Did I pronounce it right? Merci.
Merci. Yes, merci.
Simone Scoffi.
Yeah.
I work for Toyota Motor Europe in Olympics and Paralympic division. And I'm the person together with other two colleagues behind the project Yoshi. How it started. We were basically in a bar discussing with those two friends and colleagues
Okay.
about mobility in the city. And by coincidence, we saw a person in wheelchair passing in front
Okay.
and a person with a trottinette or a step scooter passing in front.
Okay.
And we were wondering, okay, it would be cool to have something like a step scooter, shared, also for people in wheelchair. Eventually, not only a support device, but also beautiful, like that you are proud to go around. Is there something in the market like this? And the answer is no. Okay. Mere coincidence. Couple of months after, in Toyota Motor Europe, it was launched an internal competition called Your Voice for Innovation. I called those friends and said, why don't we propose the idea to this internal competition? And guess what? So we were among the winner of the contest. We received the blessing of our management to proceed with the development. And so we started. We were keep growing and growing and growing. And we reached the point, and maybe you can come to me.
Okay.
To show you a bit, a big improvement or a big turning point for us.
Okay, Simon, you're an engineer. What is your profession in Toyota Motor Europe?
Formally, I'm a mechanical engineer.
Okay.
But in Toyota, I had the opportunity to rotate and experience many aspects of the project because I started as development engineer, then as a team leader for development, then cost planning, so much more project management. And then when I started with those guys, this Yoshi project, I acted a bit more like the CEO of a startup inside Toyota. So it was really with this level of degree of flexibility and responsibility. It was quite cool.
Okay, so you're showing us your concept which won the competition.
Yes. When we finalized the first prototype, it was with a handlebar like a quad. So there was brakes and acceleration.
Okay.
Then we decided to review this concept with the Belgian Paralympic Committee. Okay. And one of the guys or one of the athletes said, the product is fantastic, but I cannot use it. I'm tetraplegic. I cannot brake pull up. That was not nice. Okay. So he said, okay, we need to take an action. It was very late in the development, but we cannot not take action. So we thought of an handlebar where you simply need one hand to do all your operation. Acceleration, brake. Speed up, speed down.
Where do you speed up?
Speed up. I'm simulating the thumb like this. Speed up, speed down, light. And you have also the reverse function here. I can show you. This R. And on the unlocked version, we have also cruise control. For the village, we will not have cruise control. It's a bit too dangerous.
This is power.
Power and light.
Power and light.
More generally speaking, lithium is not the only resource that is limited. So our real problem, if you want to get to the core of what we need to stop doing, we need to stop wishful thinking. We need to stop imagining, well, what if everybody just did this? What if everybody just did that? What if there were no resource limitations whatsoever? This is what wishful thinking does, and it's actually kind of a negative thing that we have to kind of get ourselves out of. Let me give you some examples. There's something in behavioral science called the present bias. It's a form of wishful thinking. Here we have a beautiful figure. What's this person doing? They have present bias. They're busy texting a loved one and feeling happy. In the meantime, there's a stack of work that they have to get done that they're procrastinating. That tomorrow their boss is going to get angry because their work isn't done. But their present bias says, I would much rather have fun on my phone texting some nice messages to a loved one. Every single human being, every single one of us has present bias. And so it's difficult for us to really appreciate that when carbon dioxide accumulates in the atmosphere, that the future is going to be really, really difficult. We're focused on today, so we have this present bias. It's kind of a form of wishful thinking that we have to get over. Another form of wishful thinking, we don't appreciate that certain quantities accumulate, and we think that we can solve problems tomorrow even though they're accumulating today. So here's a pile of trash. Carbon dioxide in the atmosphere works the same way. It takes over 100 years for carbon dioxide to dissipate out of the atmosphere. So we have to reduce carbon dioxide emissions as much as possible, as soon as possible, because we can't wait. It's just going to accumulate and get worse and worse and worse and worse. We have to address them as much as we can right now. Another form of wishful thinking, energy transmission infrastructure. I'm going to talk about energy generation in a second, but it turns out that transmission is actually the hardest part right now. We have presently incredibly effective infrastructure for so-called chemical fuels like gasoline, diesel fuel, things like that, natural gas. What we don't have is enough electrical infrastructure for renewable power to be moved from where it's generated, where the sun is shining, where the wind is blowing, into places where people live in order to recharge their cars. However, it's very different in different parts of the world. So for instance, in France, there's a lot of nuclear power that's distributed in different places, and this is not so much of a problem. But in the US, it's a very big problem because we tend to have infrastructure based on fossil fuel plants, and now we need to build infrastructure for moving around renewable power that comes from a different place. This tends to be really slow, and it's because of bureaucracy, and because of human nature. And so these kinds of infrastructure in many parts of the world tend to be developed very, very slowly. And this is going to take time. But still, we have to get to net zero. More wishful thinking. How many of you have heard about batteries that can be used to stabilize the grid, to store energy when there's excess power being generated, and to give up energy at other times when you need it? Well, it's a really neat idea, but actually batteries are not very energy dense compared to, for example, hydro that you see on the right-hand side. So hydro is a wonderful way to store energy even across the seasons, from the winter to the summer, but batteries can only store them for days or perhaps weeks. And so it's wishful thinking to think that the solution on the left can be used for what the solution on the right is used for. As we go to solar and wind, and we have still a need for seasonal energy storage, where are we going to store that energy? And the answer is, we don't really have a good answer for that so far. And let me end here with the final wishful thinking of the big ones here, which has to do with affordability. It's wishful thinking to think that there's enough personal capital, enough savings in people's bank accounts everywhere in the world to suddenly have them all buy new cars. We can wish for that. We can say, okay, wouldn't it be great if suddenly everyone could take their old car and sell it or junk it or recycle it and suddenly buy a new car. But there's not enough personal capital for that. In fact, even in the US, which is one of the wealthier countries, over 20% of our cars are over 21 years old. And it's getting older and older and older as time goes on. It's kind of a paradoxical thing. As our car quality improves, as the durability improves, this problem gets worse and worse. And if that weren't bad enough, when cars go from a primary market to a secondary market, the age gets even older. What is this pushing us towards? What do we need? We need renewable energy. We can get to net zero. If you take a look at this, solar energy has become much, much less expensive over time. Wind energy, same sort of thing. Nuclear power. Of course, France is a great example of conventional nuclear power, but there's new small modular reactors that are coming in the next few years and that I'm convinced are going to become an incredible source of renewable power, low carbon power throughout the world. But there's something called enhanced geothermal that can be used in many, many parts of the world to get renewable power from the heat that's inside of the earth. This is incredibly good news. The future for carbon reduction is actually very bright. The problem is, how do we get that energy from where it's generated to where it's going to be used? And how do we get it into a form that even older vehicles can still use? It's because of these energy sources that we're able to say that there's a pathway there as well. So let me talk for just a few minutes about economics. When we begin to produce any kind of new technology, when we build a factory and produce the first unit right out the door, the cost is very, very high. And then when we build the second one, the cost is less because we've made two of them at that same factory. And the more and more units we produce, the more the scale goes up, the lower that kind of capital cost of the factory impacts the unit cost because it's being spread over more and more units. This is sort of the miracle of mass production. Eventually, we reach a line, a kind of a barrier here, which is how much labor and materials went into producing each one of the units that is made. This is what I really want to get across. And so no matter what, the economics of cost versus scale is always this kind of bathtub curve. Starts up high, goes down, reaches a minimum, and then at some scale, it suddenly goes back up because we run out of the resource. And you simply can't make any more because there's no more resources to either make it or to buy it. Wishful thinking does not move that blue line to the right. Wishful thinking will not allow us to say, what if everybody just bought EVs? However, over time, the lines do move. Over time, more lithium will be mined, and that blue line will move over to the right. Over time, new technologies will come to make it less expensive to make the product, and even making a new factory will become less expensive. But the truth of it is it takes time for these curves to mature and for them to descend in this kind of way. And so what's the solution? How do we get ourselves to save as much carbon as possible, as soon as possible, right now, not wait for the accumulation? The answer is multipath. That's where the 1-6-90 rule comes from. 1-6-90 means that if we take a certain amount of lithium that we use to make one long-range battery electric vehicle, we can use that same amount of lithium to make 6 plug-in hybrid vehicles, because the batteries in those cars are much smaller. And because we have 6 of them instead of 1, even though each one doesn't save as much carbon dioxide as the one BEV, it actually turns out that we can save 5 times as much CO2 as the one BEV. And if we go even further, we can make 90 hybrid electric vehicles because the batteries in those are much, much smaller for the same total amount of lithium. And there, again, they don't save as much carbon dioxide as the PHEVs do, or the EVs do, but we can save 30 to 5 times as much for the same amount of lithium in total. And so the solution to this kind of problem is diversity. Diversity of different powertrains, diversity of different solutions. All the food that every animal on Earth eats is less than 2% on average. Incredibly low efficiency. And yet it doesn't matter. And the reason it doesn't matter is that nature doesn't care about efficiency. Nature cares about cost. And it turns out there's so much solar energy that hits the Earth, and there's so much land mass on the whole Earth that evolution chose to optimize other things rather than efficiency. And it's completely reasonable if we have a lot of renewable power, which I hope I convince you we're going to have in the future, it's okay for the efficiency of converting that power into hydrogen or to e-fuels as well. It doesn't matter. What really matters is what the cost is going to be. The future is quite bright if we just adopt a multi-path approach, which is an approach that stays to the left of those resource limitations. It uses e-fuels and biofuels for those middle solutions that you see there, can address the problem of old cars, of units in operations, and of course can use hydrogen both in the fuel cell form and for internal combustion engines too. So I'm incredibly optimistic about the future, not because I believe that any one of these paths is the full answer, but because I think the diversity of these